What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. Let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. Oh. So yes, today we have this security camera footage from one of the Russian local small markets. And you can see a guy who probably just finished watching Peaky Blinders, who got inspired by their fashion. So he is wearing this ridiculously oversized hat. Probably the name of this guy, after once again watching the Peaky Blinders. By the way, if you've seen this TV show, it will become much more funny, this part of the ridiculous Russian propaganda. Probably the name of this guy is something like Timur Kuznetsov-Shelbovich. And he is a big fan of, obviously, Thomas Shelby. Or maybe another explanation will be whenever you order Tommy Shelby from AliExpress and, well, this is what you get. And by the way, guys, this night from Wednesday to Thursday, which is gonna be May 9th at 3 AM Eastern Standard Time, we're gonna be watching together the Russian Victory Parade in Moscow. This became some sort of a tradition on the Russian Dude channel. I'm gonna be translating everything for you guys, the speech of Putin, and it will be very curious to see how things changed, because I don't expect too many military vehicles during this parade, and maybe the narrative of Putin will change as well. If you are curious to see it and if you don't want to miss this tradition to have in our small community, once again please like this video and subscribe to my channel and put notifications, reminders, alarm clocks. May 9th, 3 AM Eastern Standard Time. I'll be there, hoping to see you there as well. Don't forget about my second channel, The Russian Dude Investing, where I talk about also the news from the world of finance, economics and the stock market. So if you're interested in these topics, the link to my second channel is down below. Thank you guys so much. Right, now as always it is time to get serious, and first of all let's talk about escalation both from NATO and Russia, which even led Russia to actually really to test nukes this time. And then also like what is happening with Shoigu. Looks like that Putin found a successor for him, but what is even more curious, where is Valery Gerasimov? Supposedly the second person in the military of Russia, and we haven't heard from him in such a long time. Suspicious, to say the least. And to begin with, several days ago, France allegedly sent approximately 100 of its soldiers to fight in Ukraine, and then this was met with pretty big opposition from Russia. Russians were demanding the explanation, and well, eventually, not that long time ago, France started to refuse this statement, saying that no, actually we did not send anyone. Even the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, said that France is not at war, neither with Russia nor with its people. And then whenever there is going to be so-called Putin's quote-unquote inauguration into his presidency, which by the way is happening today, France representatives will be present during this event, which is kind of like France, unfortunately I would say, switched the tables pretty quick. Because the representatives of the European Union and the United Kingdom, they will not be, for example, present during this presidential inauguration of Vladimir Putin. Even Americans recently did also make a statement that in case Ukraine will lose, like actually lose in this war, then America will have to send its soldiers. Also, as soon as Russia started protesting these statements, Americans started to become vague, saying that we did not exactly mean this. And yes, American representatives will not be present during Putin's inauguration, but they did acknowledge that they recognize Putin as a legitimate president, whether they like it or not. But they said that yes, Putin is the president of Russia. So as you can see, over the last several days, a lot of controversial, to say the least, statements were made from all the sides of this conflict, and then eventually, to sum it all up, NATO even established clearly two red lines, which, if they will be crossed, then NATO will be officially joining this confrontation against Russia. The red line number 1, if Belarus joins the forces with Russia and there are troops located on the territory of Ukraine, and the red line number 2, if Russia attacks Baltic states, Poland or Moldova. Well, now let's talk quickly about the response from the Russian side, and first of all, Putin did acknowledge that Russia is now fully, officially, and this time for real, are doing the nuclear tests. According to the press secretary of Kremlin, Dmitry Peskov, this statement was made in response of NATO escalating its narrative, escalating its statements against Russia. So once again, according to Russia, this is a defense mechanism. Same stuff what they've been saying for the last several years. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia even then added that whenever F-16s, whatever modifications they're gonna do, whether they're gonna be carrying nukes or not carrying nukes, they will be treated as nuclear weapons on the territory of Ukraine, which will lead to the similar response by Russia, which basically once again they started threatening with nukes. And since the United Kingdom was one of the latest supporters to Ukraine, once again the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia released this statement that whenever and if these supports once again appears on the territory of Ukraine, Russia will have absolutely all the rights to attack these targets, despite the fact whether they're located on the territory of Ukraine or even in the United Kingdom, directly threatening the integrity of another country. And ultimately, since we did quickly touch this so-called inauguration of Putin into presidency, he will be reshuffling completely the government and the military officials. He even had allegedly the very last meeting with some representatives of the Russian State Duma who are expected to be replaced after the inauguration is done. But what is even more surprising is that according to some Russian media, not necessarily only fully government affiliated one, but these sources, they were relatively correct in the past. They did mention that even the Ministry of Defense of Russia, Sergei Shoigu, is to be replaced during this reshuffle within the Russian government, and most likely his place will be taken by Mr. Dumin. And if you remember my previous episodes, there was already some kind of confrontation between Shoigu and Putin. I would say that it all started with Shoigu making statements the same as Prigozhin, like, we need more munition, weapons, if you want to continue the same pace of the offensive, we need more support. Exactly what Prigozhin was saying before he disappeared forever, now Shoigu says exactly the same. And so then the arrest of Deputy Minister of Defense Timur Ivanov, allegedly because of the bribes, but most likely it is because of the high treason, and then ultimately Putin being completely unsatisfied with the performance of Shoigu, him not being able to achieve anything significant in such a long period of time. So this potential replacement of Shoigu with Dumin, it does make sense. And then, you know what? Where is Valery Gerasimov, the commander-in-chief of Russian forces? Isn't he supposed to be like the second person in the entire Russian military, and now he's kinda completely gone from the public eye? It is kinda impossible to believe that such high-ranking official deserves zero attention on the Russian media during this special military operation. He's completely gone from public's attention. It is like that, you know this feeling right before you're getting fired, your boss, your company, your coworkers, they kind of start to exclude you from mutual projects. So it's like, yeah, you kind of occupy your space, you still get your salary, but you're not involved as much. And then you obviously get fired. So I think personally this is exactly what's happening with Valery Gerasimov right now, with the only one key difference. Being fired from the Russian military, it is not just as simple. It's not like they're gonna just send you home, say, thank you for your service, gonna continue paying like government pension or anything like this. I do not personally think it's gonna happen this smooth for this guy. But the fact is the fact, he is gone and not a single person knows where he is. And ultimately, let me briefly give you an update from the front lines and a pretty smart tactic that Ukrainians are using to protect Chasiv Yar, but this chapter I decided to make exclusively for my patrons to say thank you guys for your support, because YouTube does not pay almost anything at this point. And also all the footage that I will be showing will be completely fully uncensored. So guys, if you want to see this extra chapter, please go ahead and check my Patreon, the link is down below. The best way to support the Russian dude at this moment. Thank you so much. There you have it guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode. Please subscribe if you like this style of daily news updates, and also don't forget about our my May 9th parade, don't forget about my second channel, The Russian Dude Investing, and all the other useful links are down below. Thanks so much for watching, see you tomorrow.